Ladies and gentlemen, good evening once again. Good evening to all of you. Once again, you are welcome here on the Avail the Consciences platform. In significant international news, North Korea has now definitively found the ultimate and most opportune moment to continue aggressively pursuing its illicit nuclear weapons program, a program that poses a grave threat to global stability, following the impactful American military strike on several key Iranian nuclear cities, specifically targeting Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan, which occurred just last weekend. North Korea is more determined than ever to continue its nuclear program. It's a festival of violations of the principle of nuclear non-proliferation. South Korea and North Korea, I was going to say. Now each have their own personal authorization following what happened. But the reason for such ambition, you would agree with Pyongyang, you would agree with Kim Jong-un. Yes, the condition, the if he said, when you really analyze it, you have to say the guy has a point. So in this video conference, we are going to talk about this intention, this opportunity that America has just offered to North Korea. But before we continue, as usual, I humbly ask you to share the video conference as much as possible. Give it lots of likes. Leave a comment with your thoughts. Subscribe if you're new here. This way, you won't miss any of my video conferences. So let's dive deeper. And so, according to official information, after the attacks on Iran, North Korea might continue with its own nuclear program. In other words, instead of this American strike or this attack on Iran scaring others who have the same tendencies, the same appetite for nuclear weapons, on the contrary, it galvanizes them. It gives them courage, energy. It has reinvigorated them. It has boosted them. Yes. Instead of frightening them, it gave them courage. It gave them strength. But how did this give Pyongyang courage? It should be said that the North Korean regime is closely monitoring the situation in Iran. They even announced that they would provide any kind of assistance Iran wanted. They were ready to provide this assistance to Iran before the ceasefire. Kim Jong-un was ready at a moment's notice. It should also be noted that, unlike Israel, whose allies participated direct whether in intercepting drones or missiles, or even in carrying out strikes on Iran, unlike Iran, Iran's allies had told Iran, tell us what you need, and we'll send it to you. Iran said, for now, I don't need any help. I'll defend myself like a big boy. Otherwise, Kim Jong-un insisted, if you need anything, just let me know. You know, Kim Jong-un, he has a lot. He has the stuff, and he has it in abundance. That is to say, you know, he's very young, apparently. He lives only for this. Imposing his respect, he has no positive feelings toward these Westerners. He doesn't have any, not a single positive feeling. So, he's keeping a close watch. We do know, though, that according to the West, the North Korean regime has been illegally developing its nuclear arsenal since the 1990s, since 1990. According to the North Korean regime, the atomic bomb is the only shield against American aggression. That is to say, for them, the atomic bomb is the only weapon, the last weapon that can protect them against the American regime. Because the Americans, that's how it works in their minds. So, for them to calm down, they need to know that whatever they have, you have it too, or even something stronger. And what's worse is that you're even crazier than they are. At any moment, you could press the red button and launch it. So they see the atomic bomb as the only shield against American aggression, especially in light of the recent situation with Iran. So for Pyongyang, if the United States was indeed able to successfully strike Iran, it's precisely because Iran did not yet possess nuclear weapons with which to effectively retaliate against such an attack. They knew that Iran didn't have nuclear weapons. That's why they attacked it. But if they knew that Iran had nuclear weapons, they wouldn't attack. The mere fact that Iran could threaten to use nuclear weapons against them would have forced them to back down. Yes. So the North Korean regime, which already possesses around 50 nuclear warheads, they already have them. They produce them illegally. Whether it's legal or illegal, the main thing is they have them. They have that rare thing. So you see, America has its ally, South Korea. America tries everything by all possible means. America has a military alliance with South Korea, but no matter what they do, things always get resolved. They don't dare attack, they don't go after North Korea because they know that guy has the thing. And him, the man with the nuclear pants, when you even look at the shape of his pants, you can feel that. Yeah, they're so wide. So he doesn't beat around the bush. So they say it's precisely because he didn't yet have nuclear weapons to retaliate or at least to threaten to do so. So the North Korean regime, which already has about 50 warheads and missiles capable of reaching American soil, enough to deter any external attack, their missiles can reach American soil. So they feel secure in their minds. But that's not enough. So what America did to Iran actually encouraged Pyongyang's determination. Pyongyang is determined not to give up its nuclear weapons. In fact, they believe they must continue because for them it's the only thing America is afraid of. And it's because America is afraid of that America doesn't want to see this bad thing happen with anyone. So, the negotiations between Washington and Pyongyang have always been centered around the denuclearization of the regime, meaning North Korea giving up its nuclear arsenal. But it now seems difficult to make the North Korean regime wait with this argument, as it has just discovered what the absence of a nuclear weapon could cost it. It has just discovered what the absence of a nuclear weapon could cost it. Washington was in negotiations with them. You have to give up your nuclear arsenal, while America has nuclear weapons. But when that conflict happened, they discovered, I was going to say, if you don't have nuclear weapons, what it could cost you. So now they are determined. Determined. So beyond even the Middle East, American intervention in Iran could force Washington to rethink its diplomatic strategy toward the North Korean regime, which is determined not to give up its nuclear weapons. They are not going to give them up. This is one of the consequences of America's actions. America is awakening, opening the eyes of many leaders. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was the top international news story. Thank you all for sharing it as much as possible. I'll be back with more news shortly. This was the voice of your one and only Samurai.